on Twitter or Facebook showing up right now. Hold
I
on.
see nothing on Twitter, so yeah.
This is such crap, man. Oh, wait a minute. I spoke too soon. Oh, we got it. Okay, we're up. Hang on. We're on. Here we go. All right, so we're on there. We are on Facebook,
Yeah.
Twitter. You should have the notification.
Yep.
And here we go. In five, four, three, two, and one. What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining us here on the Welcome Home Podcast. I'm your host, Famously Garnet. I'm joined by my co-host Q.
What it do, y'all? What it do?
Yeah, we were supposed to have Parker White on tonight, but due to unforeseen circumstances, because of the technology outages across the country, well, Riverside also took a fat L on this one, and yeah, Parker White will be rescheduled. We will get him back on. Parker's a friend of the brand, friend of the show, so never fear. Parker White will be on the show in the
Facts.
upcoming weeks. We do apologize, but that is just unfortunately something we have no control over. So the show must go on, Q. The show must go on. And, Q, there are plenty of things to talk about. And we're going to bring up the transfer portal in baseball and softball. That got hot again over the last few days. And South Carolina football was not done on their side of the transfer portal, as South Carolina needed to make a move in case something doesn't go down the way it needs to. And we'll talk about what that looked like, bringing in a new running back, bringing a new running back into the room. And
Hmm.
then Q will have a couple more updates in recruiting, along with Landon Duckworth, who has shut it down to two schools. We will get into that as well. Q, let's start off on the softball side of things. And I got to tell you, man, Ashley Chastain Woodard, she is still staying hot in that transfer portal, as South Carolina just recently acquired infielder Elisa Hovermill from Florida, from over there. Emma Friedel, she is a pitcher from Kennesaw State. And then I believe was also Tate Davis from Ole Miss, an infielder. So Ashley Chastain Woodard off of the best year in softball history for the Gamecocks, right? Finished in the highest ranking they've ever had, and she's staying hot in the transfer portal. Q, what are your thoughts about finishing in this transfer portal the way that she did to get ready for next season?
Man, she's done an amazing job, bro. There ain't nothing more, nothing less you can say. She's just done flat out an amazing job. She's reing up, making sure she has the proper people she can get so that she can make another run. Once again, I can't emphasize this enough. 1 out away, 1 out away from literally being in Oklahoma City. I think she is primed to get there to Oklahoma within the next year or two. I am elated to see what she's able to do with a full year to recruit her high school kids, especially local talent. And so I'm intrigued to see what she's able to do. But she did a really good job in the portal. She did exactly what needs to be done in the portal. So I like what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, she really did. She did. She took to the areas where she needed the most help at. And you're losing a lot of great players, right? You lose Jordy Hurd, right? You lose her. You lost her, and you still brought back a lot, right? You're bringing back Rhodey, right? You're bringing back Shelton. I mean, you're bringing back some great players, right? And I think the fact of the matter is that she attacked, areas that of need where I'm not saying we've seen it in the past from that same side of things on the softball field. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
I think Ashley Chastain Woodard has done a fantastic job in year one, and it's only going to get better. I mean, let's call it how it is. It's only going to get better for her and what she's doing at South Carolina. So I think it's a tremendous, tremendous, tremendous season from her, and I really can't wait to see what she's got left, in the future,
Big
because it's
facts.
gonna it's only gonna get better. Q. It's only going to get better.
I like I said, I think she's gonna go on a repeat run, man. I really don't see how she wouldn't. I think a repeat run is on the way.
Yeah, yeah, I do agree. I absolutely agree. Now, Q, we'll take it to the other side of things on the diamond. We'll take it to the men's side, and that is the old baseball team. And South Carolina has been staying hot in that transfer portal, as recently Tyler Back from Wofford committed to the Gamecocks. Tyler has a big bats over 300 for the Terriers. Was pretty solid, a great outfielder, very athletic. He's one of those guys that kind of reminds you of Tanner English a little bit when it comes to catching that ball in that outfield, man, making these extravagant plays. Your SC South Carolina, the Sports Center top 10 plays, if you will. I tell you, he looks good. He looks good, and not just that, man. Ethan Lizama from Western Kentucky commits to South Carolina. That guy had a hot bat last year, batted over 336, 15 homers, and 60 RBIs for the Hilltoppers out there in Western Kentucky. One of the best players out there in the conference. Huge get. Huge get for South Carolina. Gotta love it, man.
Yeah. Man, they're getting good. They're getting some talent. They're getting some talent. And maybe my stance has really helped. Light a little fire. I'm still going to stick to my guns because I still don't think this is the answer. I still think, changes should be made. But since we're here, it is good we're at least getting some kind of talent. So let's see how that translates. But I still don't trust the coaching outside of Monty Lee. I genuinely don't trust the coaching. So
I will say this, South Carolina needed to make a big statement in the transfer portal, and they've done so far. I mean, there are 2 unannounced commits right now for South Carolina baseball. If the tally is correct, at least 2 more that have not been announced, and one of them is a pretty another significant name and that will be revealed here soon. So, I think what South Carolina is doing right now, it can't be it needs to be talked about, honestly. I mean, this portal, the coaches have done a ton, and they're doing a ton. They told Donati, and we've seen the releases and things of that nature, that they're going to have all this NIL and they're going to put it to good use, and they're going after players that they need that will be fit, great fit for the program, and that can do the job that they need. Obviously, we saw, what we saw last year, right? A lot of players took a step back. We all know this. Maybe, just maybe, they can get this thing right and they can right this shit. Maybe. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Yeah, you're not going to get that from me. I say what I said. Happen. No, I'm standing 10 toes. I'm standing 10 toes. I'm not wavering on this. I'm not doing none of that. Standing 10 freaking toes down. You've lost your mind if you think I'm finna not stand 10 toes on that, bro.
Oh, I know you wouldn't.
That's 10 toes
I
down,
know you
man.
would. Yeah,
Heck no. Hey man, that dude, what he did is criminal. He should be locked up for the rest of the time that he is here on this earth because he was such a toxic person and did some of the most toxic things I've ever heard a coach do in the history of sports. I do not and I will not stop spreading that because it's true. Fact, like I say, men lie, women lie, facts don't. And I'm not lying about this one. I'm standing 10 toes on that. So I for the players' sake, hey, I'm happy for y'all. Let's grind this out. Let's get to where we need to be. But that's it. I'm here for the players.
Right. All right, I hear you. And I get it. I definitely get it. All right, Q, let's take it on to the old other side of things, the old football side of things. As things are getting hot, and I got to tell you, Q, I got to tell you, the old Landon Duckworth saga continues as Landon Duckworth has ended the recruitment again and the other schools besides South Carolina and Auburn. Ole Miss is no longer getting that visit. Kennesaw State no longer getting that visit. 2 schools officially out. Now it's coming down to South Carolina and Auburn. There are talks
Florida
about,
State.
Landon Duckworth heading to Auburn tomorrow.
Not Kennesaw State, Florida State.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, talking about that, that's right. Now, looking at, like I said, Landon Duckworth going to Auburn tomorrow, it's Team Act. It's the high school team that's going. There were some talks that he was going to go by himself. He's going to be like a weekend kind of thing, but apparently that seems not to be the case. That seems to not be the case. And Auburn folks, the ones that cover the program, they seem to see it's South Carolina's to lose right now, and they don't foresee that happening because of Deuce Knight and his what he's going to do on the field for them. So, what is your take on that, Q, as Landon Duckworth shuts down the recruitment to Auburn and South Carolina?
So I don't know if his team is actually going. I just know there's been conflicting reports. So they've struggled with those things. So I don't know what it is. What I would do though, I would keep an eye on the 20th, June 20th, big visit for us. if Landon makes another unofficial visit out there during that time, it is a very strong possibility it could happen. I know Landon. I want to say the Elite 11. When does the Elite 11 start? The 23rd. I think the Elite 11 starts like the 23rd
I
or
think it's
something along those
next week
lines.
or the weekend. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's like 10 days from now or something like that. Yeah.
it'll be June. Yeah. So it'll be the 17th through the 19th. So essentially, he could come straight from that to Columbia. It is a strong possibility.
Right.
So we will see. So I'm intrigued to see what he's
I
able
mean,
to
it's
do.
possible, man.
I know for a fact you do have Shane will be working this situation. That much I do know. Shane going to work this situation until the end. And I do think he's going to commit end of June or July. It would be one of those two times. So let's see what happens on that. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting, Q. I mean, this is I feel that South Carolina left it all out there and more, honestly, when it came to Landon Duckworth's recruitment. I mean, that's a guy that I mean, he was committed to the Gamecocks to begin with, right? He was committed to the
Facts.
Gamecocks to begin with, and he decommitted, right? And then
Hmm.
he's back. And so it's rare. It is rare that you see this in recruiting, but this has already happened this year with Jared Curtis. Jared Curtis to be decommitted from Georgia, opened up his his recruitment back up, ultimately committed to Georgia again,
Hmm.
right? More than likely going to sign with the Bulldogs. So, it's definitely interesting. I did want to get your take on Warren out there for Bluffton decommitting from Virginia Tech. What are your thoughts about that, Q?
I haven't seen enough tape on him to make a firm like feeling on the situation. He's a
Mhm.
four-star athlete for a reason, and I've heard good things about him and how he plays. He's 6'3", so I'm curious why we're not taking a stronger look or we haven't offered him. He's also been to camp multiple times, so I mean, there's got to be something there. I definitely trust Fury. I definitely trust Shane, so I know they know how to evaluate talent. So something must be there. I'm intrigued to how this plays out. I know he's trending towards North Carolina currently. He's going to be on a visit there this weekend. So I can't blame him. Virginia Tech's not in the best spot right now. I cannot lie. Like they're really not in a good spot, and I don't even think their coach may not make it. He's another coach I really am keeping an eye on this season to see what happens because between him and Dorian out there at NC State, I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen with those two coaches when it comes to this, along with the Billy Napiers, the Brent Venables, those type of situations. But I'm really looking at those two because we are in some battles with a couple of guys when it comes to those two schools. So I'm intrigued to see what happens there.
Yeah, I mean, the old Bluffton area, right? Hilton Head down there. It's never been the best for South Carolina recruiting. Obviously, BJ Payne is not, especially during the Muschamp era, was not a big fan. South steer any recruit that would even look South Carolina's way the opposite direction. And obviously, Shane Beamer went in there and he tried to rectify the situation, man. He tried to get in there and repair relationships that were lost during the Muschamp time.
Hmm.
And I just something about that area, man. And he's a great player, man. Cornell Warren is a great player. He had over 900 yards, 14 touchdowns. He's a great prospect. He's got size to him. I'm interested, but I guess we'll really see what happens. Obviously we just offered Amiri Acker, right, from Iva, South
Hmm.
Carolina. It's definitely interesting if we do get a guy from in-state this year at the wide receiver class. It's definitely gonna be interesting. Well, let's say more than one, maybe two, but because there's multiple guys out there, could be possibilities, right? There's multiple guys,
Yeah,
so it's just something to keep an eye on. It's
I
definitely
agree.
something to keep an eye on. Just with Sequel Patterson, right, reclassifying for 27 to 26. Keep an
Hmm.
eye on that. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on. So
They really can pick and
I'll be
choose when it
interested
comes
to
to
see.
this.
I'll tell you this though, man. 2026, yeah, it's true. It's
They can
true.
be
And
very
obviously,
picky.
Travis Johnson, man, that's the guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they've got some options. They've got some options. Well, looking at the prior class of 2025, the wide receiver class, we're already seeing guys shine in different ways. That picture of Brian Rowe getting up for that frisbee and ultimate frisbee they played, I guess it was yesterday in the ops building. I tell you what, man, like that, he got up. He got up for that, and people are losing their minds on the internet over that picture, man. I mean, he's up there, and he's 6 foot flat. I mean, he's a 6 feet even, 180, right? 180, 160, 170, whatever it is. But the kid got up there, man. And it's like,
Yeah.
good Lord. Like, and people are seeing that. They're like, hey, stop, going up, going up, going up.
Correct.
I mean, good Lord.
You're right.
He's good. He's good, man. Murph told us best, man. He said he was going to cook in the spring game, and buddy, did he ever?
Yeah. He did. He went crazy.
I just, man, I'm excited, man. There's so much excitement right now surrounding this program. Cube, let's go ahead. We'll take it to the old transfer portal in the college football. In South Carolina, they haven't had an answer yet. We don't know if Faison is going to be cleared. So South Carolina had to make a move. They had to make a move, and they brought in a running back. Q, what are your thoughts about the running back that we brought in?
I mean, he was a leading running back for Colorado last year. So, I mean, he's got the talent. He's played in the Power Four, so that means a lot, especially with a pass-heavy team. He was still able to lead the team in rushing, so that was good. But I'm intrigued to see if Sewell's able to play, and you have this guy too, along with Oscar Attaway. Hey man, that's going to be a dangerous backfield to go along with Lenor's. It's going to be a very dangerous backfield. So I'm intrigued to see how that bad boy plays out as well. Very intrigued to see how that bad boy plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. And so in case you've been living under a rock, that new running back is Isaiah Augustave. Isaiah. Running back from Colorado, started his time in Arkansas. So that's a guy that's not, is familiar with SEC, familiar with Rocket Sanders, former teammate of his. Mm-hmm. And so it's definitely interesting. I'm not saying that, Isaiah's going to be the next Rocket Sanders or anything like that. But this guy brings something to him. He's got nice speed. You didn't see a lot from him last year at Colorado, maybe more than you wanted to, because quite simply, Colorado didn't have the best offensive line last year, right? Let's call it how it is. I mean, Shedeur Sanders opened up their game a lot from the way he could play. So looking at that, his stats don't blow you off the table, right? 394 rushing yards, 85 carries, scoring 4 touchdowns last season. However, I think he's got a total of 5 touchdowns and over around 586, 590 rushing yards in his career. But Q, you just said it, man. You bring it to a running back room of him, right? Faison gets cleared, Oscar Attaway, Juwan Howell, Matthew Fuller. I mean, that is a solid running back room right there, Q. It really is. And that's enough to get you places to win games. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're correct.
And he's got good size. I mean, he's 6'2". Yeah, 6'2", 210 pounds. So he's not a little Lightfoot running in there. He's going to hit you. He's going to hit you hard.
He's got speed too. That. He's got a lot of speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does. I would tell you, if you want to watch the film on him, I saw film on him on Colorado versus Utah, and there was film with him Colorado versus, I think, Kansas or something like that, one of those other schools. So there is film out there to watch. You can actually, just by even looking on Twitter, you can find it. You don't have to go quite on YouTube all the way to get on that. You can actually see it right there. I mean, Q, it's just a big get for South Carolina in the predicament that they're in right now, because you don't know. I mean, per se, if you do have to make, if you did make this move, and Oscar Attaway, Juwan Howell, that's your 1 and 2 punch. I feel better having this guy with us now, right?
I agree.
Isaiah in the running back room compared to what you just had before. Having that other option, having that depth. A lot of people think that because he's on the team now, Faison's going to get a hard no. That's not the case. But when you have a incompetent NCAA that doesn't do their job the way they need to, they have never done it correctly, until you have a different logo on your jersey. And I stand by that. I stand by that. I'm telling you, if there was another school that was fighting for this eligibility, and maybe won a national title a year or so ago, 2 years, who knows, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they won it 20 years ago. Maybe they're one of those historic blue bloods, right? Maybe they wouldn't gotten their answer by now. But South Carolina unfortunately sits at the waiting for the NCAA, like you're sitting in a waiting room at an urgent care that's got a 4-hour wait. I mean, this is just ridiculous. And it's sad. It shouldn't be this way. And things shouldn't. And I get why Shane's pissed. They sent this stuff well off when they needed to,
Mm-hmm.
right? They sent everything they needed to. They played everything by the rules. They played everything by the book. And the NCAA just simply does not care. They don't. And
Right.
this is why everybody wants to get away from them. You would think that there are talks about leaving the NCAA from the SEC, the Big Ten, these conferences, having those conversations at Destin, Florida. You'd think that would move them a little bit, but it doesn't. It doesn't. They just don't care. It seems to show that they just do not care about the future of college football, college athletics.
Correct. I agree.
It's insane to me, man. It really is. I mean, this could potentially turn into like a Tez Walker situation at North Carolina, right? He doesn't hear anything and finally hears something, and they're 4 or 5 games in, whatever it was, that finally Tez Walker was allowed to play for the Tar Heels. I mean,
Yeah, it was terrible.
just stupid, stupid.
It was bad.
And you wonder why they're sick of the NCAA.
Agreed.
I mean, they've screwed South Carolina over so many times. So many times. There's times that you guys don't even know, man. It's soccer. I mean, they get screwed by them all the time. All the time. Look at basketball. Brian Bowen situation, right? The Wesley Saunders situation years ago, right? I mean, unreal, man. It's just it's ridiculous. I'm sick of it. I know. I mean, the coaching staff is beyond sick of it. They do everything like they're supposed to, and they just get a slap in the face
all the time. That's why once we're done with the NCAA as an entity, none of this will be a problem.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I mean, this is. I don't get it, man. I don't understand how you're in these shoes, and there's possibilities of your big power conferences leaving you, and it just seem not to care. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But it's where we're at. So thankfully, we have a competent staff. They don't want to be in a bad situation, right? And they went ahead and got a running back, and a good one at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great addition, bringing Isaiah into the running back room. So congratulations to South Carolina for making that move. It was a much needed move that needed to be done. It was a much needed move to be done. There is some information out of the recruiting stuff going on right now. Maxwell Hiller out there, the number 2, number 3 offensive lineman in the country. Sam Survey, we speak with him about guys all the time, and he loves South Carolina. This kid loves South Carolina. It could potentially become one of those battles that Clemson and South Carolina run into, for the 2027 offensive lineman when it's all said and done. We'll see. There's a long time to go, but Q to be in those, in his graces already, right? Early in the process, that's strong. And you want to be there early in the process, as Lonnie Teasley has been, Sam Survey has been many, many times with these guys that they've been bringing in.
Truth.
So really good stuff on that. And Q, you have any stuff in the recruiting in on that you've heard?
Nothing yet. Like I said, I'm gonna break down that big weekend next week. This week, we're chilling. Father's Day coming up. It's a good weekend for everybody to get, spend some time. And then next week we kind of vamp up, and then we go from there. So we have some pretty good breakdowns next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Hug your dad, man. If your father is still around, man, like you just hug him, have a conversation with him, go to lunch with him, go to dinner, right? Just man, it's
agree.
Take care of your Father's Day, man. Absolutely, I mean it. I mean it. Q, I did want to talk about a recruit that is committed to Maryland. That is, I think, it's the number 1 prospect at On3, if I'm not mistaken. That is going to be visiting South Carolina. What are your thoughts about that? Old Zion Ely is coming to South Carolina.
I'd feel a little more different if he wasn't coming for a team camp.
Mm-hmm.
Feel a little more different. I think he sticks at Maryland? No. I don't know where we stand as far as it's concerned. Are we going to kick the tires? I don't know. But I don't think he sticks at Maryland. I think he does stay in the Big Ten, but he won't be in Maryland. Which, if I'm being 110% honest, it may help us with Meadows. Because if he
Yep.
does end up at a Penn State, Michigan, or Ohio State, I think that could help us a little bit with Meadows. But anytime you have a prospect like that on campus, of course, our coaches are going to do what they can to get in the race. So if it does change, I mean, we'll be the first to tell you. But
Mm-hmm.
I can't see it changing at the current moment. I think the kid's more trying to prove a point than anything. And uh, but with that Maryland staff, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna last.
I would find it hard to disagree. I mean, Q, that Maryland program. I mean, you look at attendance for one. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, it's one of the worst ones that you see, and it's like, how do you figure, like, why would you want to go play there? I mean, it has to be an NIL thing, right? It has to be. It
Mhm.
has to be because you're not getting it from your coaching, right? So yeah, I'm interested to see what happens with that. Kind of concerned about Xavier Currents, visiting Ohio State with also the South Point High School. And here's the thing: nothing happened. Nothing's going to happen. He was there for a visit. I would say it's pretty cool though. We saw him pictured with Jeremiah Smith and the other guys in that wide receiver room. To see how big he was compared to those guys was very, very telling. I'm
Mhm.
telling you, that's oh man, when South Carolina gets on campus next season, early enrollee, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, is what he told us on the interview. That's man, huge kid,
Mhm.
massive. And Florida State's trying to play spoiler, but that's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. So gotta love it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited once
Facts.
he gets younger and what he can show, what he can do. There's a lot of recruiting coming up. Q, we're going to take this weekend and, like I said, enjoy it with the family, right? And then we're back to it. We're back to it, and things are going to get interesting really quick. I mean, this next weekend is going to be massive, a big weekend that is going to happen, right?
Mhm.
And we'll talk about those guys on Monday and Thursday, right? We'll talk about that.
Mhm.
I'm telling you right now, get your tickets for the CB18 wing contest on Saturday. Like I said, from 4 to 8, it's a free event. You don't want to miss it. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be players. There's going to be podcast. I mean, there's going to be all kinds of stuff going on. I think the dunk tank is back, if I'm not mistaken. The wings are pretty good. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm a big wing guy, and I think the wings are solid that the guys are making out of that kitchen in there over at CB18. So make sure that you get out to that. And then on Friday, there's a summer bash going on at Cola Craft that is also going to include Gamecock players. Cocky's going to be there, that kind of thing. That is also a free event. Yes, I said free, FREE. That spells free. Yeah, I'm not going to say that creditreport.com song anymore. But you guys know it. You guys get there. It's going to be a blast. I'm telling you. Q, do you have anything else before we wrap it up, my guy?
That's it, man. That's it.
I like it, man. I like it. Well, Q, we actually do have some late breaking information. This just popped up over an hour ago. But South Carolina just hired former Oregon director of high school recruiting, Brian Backman, as Gamecock's new assistant director of player personnel. That actually just hit an hour ago. I was interested. It's interesting that time, how that all works out, because Brian followed me on the old X account. I think it was a week and a half ago. Remember that I told you that Brian followed me? I'm like, why? Why is the guy from Oregon following me
Well, it
now?
makes sense now.
Makes sense now. Yep. So Bachman spent the last 3+ years at Oregon. He was the first at recruiting and scouting assistant before moving up to the assistant director of player personnel role, and then added the director of high school recruiting title. Penn State graduate Backman worked at Oregon with current South Carolina director of player personnel Darren Usher, who landed his current job in Columbia last summer. Great stuff coming out from Gamecock Central there. Like I said, that busted out an hour ago. So as Q and I were frantically trying to get Parker White on the show. That came, so we missed that. So there you go. Some late breaking information to end the show. Q, what are your thoughts about that addition, man? Coming from Oregon to South Carolina like that.
I mean, just continue to grow your recruiting. That's always big. Like, and continue to grow your recruiting staff. That's always huge. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm looking forward to meeting them.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Likewise. Well, guys, we appreciate you tuning in, man. Sorry, like I said again, Parker White wasn't able to join us. There's a lot of, like I said, tech issues out there in the country going on, and Riverside is one of them that took the L on this. So, like I said, we'll get him rescheduled. But guys, we do appreciate you tuning in to episode 2 live on X, Facebook, YouTube. We appreciate you guys listening at the Welcome H Pod, the Welcome On Podcast on Apple and Spotify. Guys, you can also rate and review the show there. Rate and review the show. You can follow the new Twitter account at Believe in the WH Pod, and that is at Believe in the WH Pod over on X. We appreciate you guys doing that. And finally, Free Times has us up for the best podcast in Columbia, South Carolina. Please vote on that. We will consistently post those links to vote for the Believe in the Welcome H Pod to be your best podcast, Welcome On Podcast in Columbia, South Carolina. So, guys, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace.